There's something magical about the number 13, isn't there? Or is it mystical? It is October, so it could be either one, right? Either way, I'm going to review 13 marketing tips that are going to help you stabilize your company and best serve your customers in order to grow your business, even if you don't have money left in your budget this year. Stick with me and I will review those next. Hi, I'm Vicki O'Neill, your Plateau to Grow marketer. I help business leaders like you develop their marketing strategies so that they have the effective techniques in place to best grow their business and reach their company objectives. If that sounds like you, you're definitely going to want to listen and watch the rest of this video. So let's go ahead and dive into the first marketing tip, which is something I talk about a lot, and that is understanding who your ideal customer is. And the reason why this is so important, no matter what business you're in, is that you're providing solutions to a particular problem. And not every single person in the world has that problem. So if you don't understand what their pain points are, what their struggles are, what they're passionate about, what their day-to-day activities are like, chances are that you're marketing your business or even messaging with different clients who maybe aren't converting at the rate that you want them to, or maybe not even at all. It could be because you don't have your ideal customer identified so that you can create the most targeted and relevant messaging in your marketing to attract them and help them navigate that process through their customer journey. My second marketing tip for you today is to have some type of tracking analytics on your website. Most of us use Google Analytics. If you don't have any tracking code on your website currently, I encourage you to go out and get Google Analytics. It's free and it's super easy to add to your website. If you don't know how to do that, you can reach out to your website provider and they would be more than happy to and quickly add that code to your site. The reason why you need to have your analytics on your website is so that you understand what's happening with the traffic that comes to your website. Which landing pages are working? Which pages are driving the most traffic? Which ones are driving the most leads and conversions? Which ones aren't getting any traffic at all? It's important to understand what's happening with your website and the content on your website so that you can constantly make changes along the way. And not only is it creating more work for you or your website person, but it's also helping with your SEO because the more changes you make and the more updates you make that's more relevant to your site and making sure that you're sticking with the purpose of your website and not going completely random, it is actually going to help with your SEO placement and how people find you in search. The third marketing tip I have for you is hiring a consultant or a coach in an area of your business that may not be a strength for you. If you do need someone to add code to your website and that's not something you know how to do, also if you haven't added any content or updated anything on your website in a while, there might be some value in actually reaching out to hire someone, even if it's on a temporary basis, to get some of these things taken care of for you. When you're not looking at the content on your website or you're not doing updates and you're not tracking what's working and what's not working, you're really doing yourself and your business a disservice. Understanding what's going on online, especially with the property that you own, which is your website, is one of the highest important projects that is, yes, ongoing, but has the highest value because it's something that you can control, something that you own, and it helps those who don't know who you are yet find you through search. That brings me to marketing tip number 4, which is boosting your organic rankings through SEO. Just like I mentioned in number 3 when I was talking about hiring an expert in an area of your business that may not be a strength, this is an area of your business that really should be a priority, and not just for a certain time frame, but really for the long haul. And the reason why I share that is because with your website, which is where most of your SEO is going to come from, It could come from blog posts. It could be updates. It could be a landing page. It could be if you have your podcast episodes out there and you've got show notes and you're driving traffic to those individual pages. All of that helps with your search rankings in Google. The more attention and updates and upkeep that you make with your website, which is your number one piece of online real estate, correct? It is going to help your business not only survive, but help you thrive. Google likes to look at websites who are taking valuable interest in their website and keeping it updated and adding new content, as long as it's all relevant, of course. My fifth marketing tip is all about experimenting with photos and videos. This is something that you've likely already done with photos, and you've taken photos either of a meeting that you were in online, of course, right now, or a project that you're doing behind the scenes, or even a interview that you were doing on a podcast episode or a video podcast episode on your screen. So you're starting to capture some of those moments in photos, which is something that more people are going to respond to than in text, right? Now, the next step of that, which is taking a little bit slower for people to adopt, is video. Video is an opportunity for your ideal customers, whether it's an event that you want to present at, or it's becoming a trainer in another course with an affiliate partner, or it's just sharing your knowledge in what you're an expert at, like I'm doing here, and just showing who you are, not only your knowledge, but your personality and what people can expect if they work with you. My marketing tip number 6 is hiring a marketing or business growth strategist to help you really scale your content. We all have the capability of writing a blog post or posting something on social media, whether it's Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, even TikTok, right? And our ability to continue to evolve that content process is more in depth than just creating a post and putting it out there and hoping that people are going to like it and comment on it, right? So there's a lot more strategy that goes into the content process, especially if you have a process where a lot of your ideal customers don't already know who you are. So you need to create the awareness and really nurture that process through their customer journey. And that is done a lot through the content and the calls to action that you include in each piece of that content that can help them navigate from each step to each step, but then also help them make that micro yes to move to that next level without them even knowing it. So if you aren't already looking at the content that you are using and what's working and what's not working, if you don't have a content audit already, I encourage you to do that before the end of the year so you can start off 2021 with a very positive, very robust set of content that's going to achieve those different objectives of your ideal customer throughout their process. My marketing tip number 7 is building out your social media marketing strategy. This goes back to number 1 as well. And you can only build an effective social media marketing strategy if you know who your ideal customers are, and including in that where they spend their time. So if you're creating a social media marketing strategy that focuses on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter and LinkedIn and YouTube and Yelp and TikTok and Snapchat, all of them, including a blog and a podcast and a video every week, it's very overwhelming, but it's also not being very strategic in understanding who your customers are, how they best consume content, and where they're spending their time. So when you build a social media marketing strategy, it's best to understand not only who your ideal customer is, but also where they're spending time, so that when you're building your social media marketing strategy, you are building it to be the most effective approach at helping your ideal customers begin to know who you are, begin to like you, trust you, and eventually buy from you, because that is the ultimate goal, right? With your social media, you can also look at opportunities to buy ads and do some targeting. Even if it's on a temporary basis and you have the money in your budget to do that, you can go about doing it that way as well. Or if you don't have any money left in your budget, like I mentioned at the very beginning of this video, then you can encourage your audience to share your content or tag someone in the comments based on the image or information that you're sharing in that particular photo on Instagram, as an example. You can do the same thing on Facebook. You can do the same thing on Twitter. And there's different strategies that you can put into place that are going to get you more noticed and get you more followers. And the goal for that is ultimately not to just have vanity metrics. The ultimate goal for that is to have an active, aware audience that is interested in what your solutions are and how you can help make their lives easier. And the ways that you can do that is by being very strategic in how you're marketing your brand and being where they are when they need you. My comment in number 7 about paid advertising actually brings me to my marketing tip number 8, which is actually to consider paid advertising. Again, it's only if you have money in your budget, and the opportunity cost of taking money from here to place it here, even if it's for a short amount of time, is well worth the investment. So you really need to do some research and understand if the ROI is there and it makes sense for your business, the timing, and the platform. But if you are going to consider paid advertising, it really is a great way to create awareness of either your brand or a particular solution and really attract some new audience members, especially if you know who your ideal target customer is. Everything comes back to that, doesn't it? Again, that's why that's so important. But knowing that you know who your ideal customer is, and then when you're going through the paid targeting models on any of the platforms, you're going to be more strategic in understanding who's going to see that message. And then those people, depending on the message you include in the ad, are going to be more likely to not only be aware, but they're going to take action, which is ultimately what you want them to do, especially on paid advertising. So give that some thought and consideration as well. My marketing tip number 9 is consider using social media for customer service. We typically think of all of the different social media platforms as a way to market our brands or engage with our ideal customers. But it's also a great platform for engaging in customer service, whether it's public communication or through your direct messages. Look at how your ideal customers best communicate with you. Is it through email? Is it through comments on a blog post? Is it through DMs on Twitter? Whatever method it is, that is a great opportunity for you to also use that method for communication and customer service. Of course, if there's ever any problems that are brought to you or your brand's attention publicly, it is best to address those publicly as well. So make sure that you have a plan in place for when and if that actually happens. My marketing tip number 10 is all about creating an email marketing strategy. I reviewed a few weeks ago a tool that I use called ConvertKit, and it's a super easy tool that you can use to create forms and pop-up windows and even landing pages. Super easy. Templates exist. You can do some modifications, and it's a great way to increase your email subscription list. Here's the thing. It's also easy to create email marketing campaigns once you've actually accumulated or start accumulating those email addresses. So I had mentioned earlier with your website being your number one online real estate, right? That's the piece of property online that you actually own. The other piece that's extremely important, because again, you own it and you control it, is your email list. You can control when you communicate, what you communicate, how often you communicate, and there's no rules around that for that email platform. There are kind of rules around how frequently you should communicate and send emails to your audience, but that could be a completely different episode altogether. But looking at the emails, that is your number one way of communicating with people who have given you permission to not only be in their inbox, but also to share information with them about your company, about your solutions, how you can help them, not only with that immediate need, but anything that they have in the future. So when you develop an email marketing strategy around not only your existing customers and possibly a customer loyalty program, but also looking at your email list to identify what stage are these prospects, leads, customers in? And is there a way that I should create segments for each one of them so that the communications that are coming from me or my company are even more focused and even more relevant to them at that particular moment? And there's a lot of time and effort that goes into just a marketing strategy in general, but with each decision that you make, whether it's email or social media or even sales, there's a lot more time and effort that goes into the planning, researching, and strategizing to actually take it from ideation or idea all the way to implementation and tracking. My marketing tip number 11 is offering a free webinar. This can tie into the previous one about your email marketing strategy. Now, webinars obviously are a different strategy, but it's a great way to increase and start building your email list. Whether it's you or someone on your team or someone that you've partnered with, you all have something that you can share and train and teach and help somebody understand how they can solve an immediate problem. And you can do that through webinars. More than likely, you've attended one or many of those on your own, right? And a lot of times they're extremely helpful. You attend because there's something you want to learn or there's an issue that you're having and you know that that person can help solve that problem. So if you are looking at one, increasing your email list, and two, sharing your knowledge with people, a webinar is a great way to do that. And there are so many tools out there that you can do it for free without paying lofty subscription fees every single month. So if that's something that you feel like you need to do and it's something that can help set you up for a great 2021, then I encourage you to consider doing a free webinar. It's something I'm actually going to be doing before the end of the year as well, because I see that there's a lot of opportunity there to share my knowledge and help people like you who have invested to watch this entire message and are interested in learning from my experiences. My marketing tip number 12 is encouraging happy customers to share their experience. I have talked about this in a previous message about repurposing your content. One of those ways is to encourage your customers to share their experience, share what they liked about your company, and then you can use that in your marketing messages as well. So it's essentially like your customers are becoming your marketing team, and they're doing it based on a great experience that they had with you. That could be something that's part of your customer loyalty program. It could be something that is just encouraged that they do to help your business not only stabilize, but really grow and take it to the next level. All people want to see the experience that someone has had with your company, and especially if it's a good one. It just builds on that know, like, and trust factor, and especially hones in on that trust factor so that they are more comfortable and confident in the decision to do business with you. And my marketing tip number 13 is to try something new. There are so many new tools and platforms and ways to do business that if you're not experimenting with what's available, you really don't know what's going to work the best, right? So if you're looking at the same marketing strategy that you had in place last year is in place this year and is what you're going to use for next year, then chances are you're missing out on something, because there's been so many changes to even Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn that if you're not staying on top of what's available, then chances are you're not staying on top of where your ideal customers are spending time or how they're consuming information. So an example would be if your target customers are on LinkedIn. And LinkedIn's made some changes over the last year, but their most recent big change that people had wanted was adding stories. If you're on Facebook or Instagram, you're very familiar with stories. LinkedIn now has this capability on there. So if your target audience was on LinkedIn, but they were kind of like, I don't know, I don't want to spend too much time on there. Just like most of them, you can invest a lot of time and wonder where the rest of the day went. But with stories, it's just a whole new way to interact and learn and engage with your ideal customers. And that might be one way that they are now more engaged because they're short clippets of videos, and that might be the way that they consume information the most. So if you're not investing time in Facebook or Instagram and taking advantage of YouTube and uploading videos, this might be an opportunity for you to really evaluate your content strategy and look at, if you don't have video as part of your marketing plan for at least 2021, it's okay between now and the end of the year, but at least give it some thought and think about how you can incorporate that into your marketing strategy and what it would look like. The reason why I share this with you is I think you'll be pleasantly surprised with the outcome of starting a video channel or even a video marketing campaign. You're probably missing out on a lot of opportunities for those customers who really do prefer video, and they may want to just see you. They want to see how you interact. They want to see your energy and to see what they can expect in working with you. There's only so much someone can tell by your text or by the emails that you send out, and even the audio clips that you create. But it really makes it difficult to kind of hide behind who you're saying you are in video if they can see everything about your eye contact and your energy and how you display yourself and the information that you're sharing and your facial expressions and everything. There's so much that can be gained from a video that if you're not currently doing that, I encourage you to at least give it a lot of thought and figure out how you can take that first step into a video marketing campaign. Now, all of these are obviously contingent upon your business goals, right? So you definitely want to make sure that anything that you're doing in regards to your marketing or your budget dollars and where it's going, that every effort ties back to achieving something on your business goals list. If it's not, then you have to question why you're doing it, right? Chances are you probably don't need to be doing it. At the same time, if you're not keeping your finger on the pulse of your business goals and where the gaps are, then you could be missing opportunities for what you could be doing with your marketing. So that's one thing that I help my clients with, is understanding their business goals, where the gaps are, the results that they really want to get, and if they're not getting them, what those obstacles are, and then how I can help them get there. And that is a true passion of mine. I love helping and serving people. So if that's an area that you are at right now and you need that assistance, then I encourage you to click the link in the description and apply for a 1-hour free conversation with me, where we will walk through those things and I will help you by the end of that phone call understand what the obstacle is and have you on your next steps looking forward, and really get rid of any chaos and uncertainty and create clarity and calmness. If you found value in this video, don't forget to hit subscribe and get notified when new videos are uploaded every Thursday. Also, don't forget to hit the like button. That helps with the algorithm so other people like you can find this video. Also, if you have any questions or comments or anything that you want to share with me, I encourage you to do so in the comments below. All right, that's it for this week. Thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate you being here. And until next time, make today great.